We're happy to welcome you back for another Bible verse for the day. We hope you've been blessed by these verses we're sharing, and we appreciate any comments you'd like to make to help us improve our Bible verse devotionals. We've all had our times that were difficult, or when we've asked God for help with something, and the answer seems to be taking its time to arrive. Perhaps it's something we really need, like a healing or a new job or a husband or a wife, or maybe it's even cash to pay the rent or to buy a new car. We all know how discouraging it can be when our prayers don't seem to be answered, especially if we've prayed and we're hoping that they'd be answered sooner than later. This is when we have to hold on and keep on believing in His Word and His love. I like this little song. The answer's coming, so never fear. The answer's coming and it's almost here. Keep on believing, trust and obey. The answer's coming and it's on its way. One of my friends has had many health issues in his life. 2 years ago, he had a very rare and serious cancer. He endured radiation treatment and an intricate surgery that left him handicapped in various ways that limited his quality of life. In spite of his handicap, he hasn't allowed his own difficulties to quench his love for God or his trust and belief in the Bible. He soldiers on, fulfilling not only his own responsibilities, but even standing in when others cannot fulfill theirs. And he does all this with praise on his lips and joy in his heart. Knowing the things he was facing, I would often remind him of a verse dear to my heart, and which is our verse for the day. It comes from Proverbs 13, verse 12. Hope deferred maketh the heart sick, but when the desire cometh, it is a tree of life. I'm happy to tell you that my friend did not give up on God or His Word, and after a considerable amount of time, his body began to heal and be restored. He was freed from the troublesome difficulties, and to him it has been a tree of life. The verse says that when our hopes are deferred or delayed, dragged out or put off, it makes our heart sick. I've heard some describe this as depression or despair. However, to me it's a little like the half-full, half-empty attitude. One person looks at the glass that's filled to the halfway mark and complains that this glass is half empty. The other person, however, looks at the very same glass and joyfully says, "Wow, look, this glass is half full." Which of those attitudes do you have when you're facing a difficult situation? Hope deferred makes the heart sick. But when dreams come true at last, there's life and joy. I prefer to look at this verse as very hopeful. And although the answer is sometimes delayed, it will come. And when it does, it's like a tree of life. My husband and I married in our 30s, and we had our 3 kids when we were in our 40s. As we began having children, many of our friends were having grandchildren. Even after our children grew to adulthood and got married, we longed to be grandparents, but it just didn't happen. Until this year, we were finally blessed with our first grandchild. And let me tell you, that is a tree of life, literally. The world we live in today is in turmoil in so many ways. This has turned many believers to study and discuss end-time events and Bible prophecies, hoping that the fulfillment of these predictions will come soon and that Jesus will return to end all the suffering in our aching world. This hope deferred has made many hearts sick. But just imagine when these prophecies are fulfilled, when Jesus returns, it will be the tree of life that will bloom. If you're hoping for the answer to a specific request in your life, and you've been waiting for a long time, let your hope turn to faith and expectation that that answer will come. And when it will be a tree of life. And that's our verse for today, Proverbs 13:12. Hope deferred makes the heart sick, but when the desire comes, it is a tree of life.
It will be worth it all when we see Jesus. Life's trials will seem so small when we see Christ. One glimpse of his dear face, all sorrows will erase. So bravely run the race till we see Christ. Life's day will soon be o'er, all storms forever past. We'll cross the great divide to glory safe at last. We'll share the joys of heaven, a harp, a home, a crown. The tempter will be banished, we'll lay our burden down. It will be worth it all when we see Jesus. Life's trials will seem so small when we see Christ. One glimpse of his dear face, all sorrows will erase. So bravely run the race till we see Christ. So bravely run the race till we see